On a secluded island's beach, Shanks, the legendary pirate, stood watching the horizon intently. Suddenly, from afar, Mihawk appeared, drawing his famed sword, Yoru, ready for the challenge.
Everyone knew this would be an epic confrontation. Mihawk spoke calmly and seriously, "Shanks, I've come to test your strength now that you've lost your arm." Shanks, smiling, replied, "Mihawk, even without my arm, I won't make it easy for you." Mihawk, raising his sword, said, "I'll be the judge of that."
Shanks stood calmly, holding his sword in one hand, while Mihawk stood in the distance, ready to strike. The sky was blue and the sea calm, but the air was thick with tension. The battle began with a swift strike from Mihawk, attacking with incredible power. Shanks evaded gracefully and countered with an attack, using his sword in one hand. The waves surged around them due to their immense power.
Shanks laughed and said, "You've gotten faster since the last time, Mihawk." Mihawk seriously replied, "And you haven't lost your skill despite losing an arm." Shanks, smiling, said, "This is just the beginning."
They clashed swords on the beach, their movements so fast that the waves crashed around them, and sand flew into the air. The sheer power of their attacks was visible in the water's ripples. Shanks began using his conqueror's haki, causing the ground to shake around them. Mihawk, feeling the explosive haki, was undeterred and responded with his own haki, intensifying the tension. Mihawk, impressed, said, "Your haki always amazes me, Shanks." Shanks calmly replied, "But you haven't seen everything yet." Mihawk, smiling, said, "Let's see what else you have then." Shanks and Mihawk stood surrounded by an intense aura of their clashing haki, shaking the ground and causing waves to crash violently. As the battle intensified, Mihawk displayed his true abilities, splitting the waves in half with a single sword swing. Despite using one hand, Shanks continued to deflect Mihawk's immense power. The fight became fiercer, with both understanding that victory would not come easily. Shanks, breathing deeply, said, "Looks like I'll need to try harder." Mihawk, smiling, responded, "It wouldn't be fun if it were easy, would it?" Shanks, seriously, said, "Let's give it our all then." Mihawk swung his sword, splitting the waves, while Shanks defended with his one-handed sword, preparing for a counterattack. In a pivotal moment, Shanks launched a sudden, powerful attack, trying to end the battle with one strike. Mihawk barely deflected it, and their strengths were evenly matched. Mihawk, breathing heavily, said, "You always make things exciting, Shanks." Shanks, smiling, replied, "You haven't changed, always a formidable opponent." Mihawk, calmly, said, "It seems now is not the right time to conclude this battle." Shanks, thoughtfully, replied, "Maybe another day, when the world needs this clash." Shanks and Mihawk's swords locked together in a final powerful strike, energy pulsating around them as they stared at each other with respect and determination, realizing the battle was far from over. Suddenly, the fight stopped, and both warriors stepped back calmly, knowing this was just the beginning of future challenges. They exchanged respectful glances and walked away from each other in peace. Shanks, laughing, said, "You're a formidable opponent, Mihawk." Mihawk, with a slight smile, replied, "And you as well, Shanks. We'll meet again someday." Shanks, looking at the horizon, said, "Until that day, I'll be ready." Shanks and Mihawk stood on opposite ends of the beach, smiling with respect for each other. They then turned and walked in different directions, leaving the calm ocean behind.
إن أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والاشتراك في القناة.